ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero of Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to a 1 vs 1. On Angerville, between the south, we got here 4S, fighting for America, freedom, and democracy. Taking on the role here of the 3rd Infantry Division versus in the north, we got Cruzz, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Rolling out here for the 15th Panzergrenadier Division here with elite troops, lightning war, and storm doctrine versus armor, heavy cavalry, and tactical support there with all infantry there versus infantry, Panzergrenadiers, and Panzerfausts. Double Grenadiers start there by for Cruzz, double Riflemen start for 4S, and both players, by as you can note, are heading down the eastern side of the map. East Angerville, always for a lot of players tend to go, but as always, when you're Wehrmacht, I strongly recommend West Angerville. I strongly recommend it. Pioneers, they're securing points here. Grenadiers for the more arriving, going there for the cut-off point. Barbed wire going down with tank traps here, heading straight for the fuel point there in the east. And here's where we can see sort of points being secured slowly by the Pioniere. Second Grenadier squad, they're arriving for Cruzz. We'll be going for MD-42s, mortars, snipers. What will Cruzz be planning for? Will just be heavy grenadier built. We got barbed wire up here around the house to secure that from any krauts that might try and kick in the door. Yeah, they can't kick any doors in there, can they? Sure they can't, Charles. Sure they can't. And his points have been secured. Almost got the point here. Grenadiers continue on the west, so he's bit splitting out here. Grenadiers moving up. Going to try and rush the cut-off point here. Reasons almost got the victory point there. Fuel secured first for 4S. And the 3rd Infantry, we got Grenadiers something against the echelons. We got a 3rd Rifle squad away there for 4S. In this case, he uses the tank traps, so helpfully provided for 4S. God damn it, Charles. I tell you to wire off the tank traps as well properly. Damn it. Now it's got crowd all over it. And the closer getting up there on the earlier echelons, that's going to be a bit harsh blow there for 4S, but there you go, attacking him with the rifle, getting up close, at which point the rifleman will automatically win, since they have twice as much DPS up close than the Grenadiers. I mean, the only way the Grenadiers can win this if they sufficiently enough damage to the rifleman as they got close. If not, the rifleman just automatically win. There's no way around that. But we got a sniper following up here for Cruzz, so a Scharfschütze attached here to the 15th Panzergrenadier Division, since recently short Panzergrenadier Division would not have snipers directly sort of organically part of it, so you know, help deal with things. So 2 Grenadiers, 1 sniper there for Cruzz. No sign of doctrine yet for either player. Cruzz also not quite in control of fuel, but he's got a sufficient enough map here, so he's not too far behind. Plus, again, this push in the core point would have done a bit of economic damage to 4S as well, but it's still looking a tad risky there for Cruzz, just a tad. And we got more Grenadiers here, so looks like no machine guns for Cruzz, at least not initially. You can always follow up with the heavy machine gun teams. And meanwhile, 4S going for the ever potent and loyal 81mm mortar there for the Americans. Sniper there, bring up the rifleman, need to be a bit careful there. He is without support there, so in theory, his sniper could end up in a lot of trouble very quickly. Pioneers of Reservations in the eastern side of this west half of the map. Here we got Rifleman pushing up against the Grenadier sniper as well. Now the Rifleman all of a sudden in a much worse position, since as they're pursuing the sniper, they're taking a lot of shots from the Grenadiers, are just allowed to take hits on them for free. So that is less good. In fact, he's rushing in everything to try to catch the sniper, and that is really, I think, a mistake there by 4S, as he's just giving over so many free shots to Cruzz. So many free shots, taking so much free damage. It's basically just free experience for Cruzz right then and there. I mean, in theory, had he gone the sniper, great, but the problem is he'd need to, you know, say, going for rifle company, have sprint, so that way, you know, catch up with the sniper and wipe him, but he didn't have that. So, ultimately, that was a bit of an exercise in futility there by 4S against Cruzz, though, of course, at the same time, he's been able to get away a lot of Cruzz's territory in the east. So it's not all bad there for 4S, but that could have been a bit better. Captain on the way there for 4S, pretty standard maneuver there. El Capitan. And meanwhile, Cruzz taking up there for the fatherland. Grenadiers for sniper support, they're advancing towards the east now. Mortar nearby has yet to reveal its presence there by delivering a high explosive bomb in the direction of some unfortunate German. Grenadiers are flanking against the mortar crew, and there we go, sending it running. Yay! Helmut, look at this! An American Granatenwerfer crew. I think they call them mortars. How silly. Yeah, they werf Granaten. Silly Americans. And as Grenadiers arrive, getting off a few shots, sniper joining in there. 2 kills from the Scharfschütze. Cruzz now actually going for an MD-42, perhaps feeling he needs it. Or perhaps just having always planned to go for the sniper later on. Hard to hear what Cruzz exactly was thinking. In the south, we've got the mortar moving up. Again, ready to take on some crowds. We got the Reasons, or Raffian versus the Grenadiers now moving up support here, and back here we got, well, the MD-42. He still also needs to take up. He can likely get that done once the Pioneers arrive, and mortar fire flying down here. That was kind of lucky for Cruzz. I mean, had the mortar landed slightly differently, those Grenadiers probably could have been rather dead. Raffian on the hand actually suffering quite a bit there, so at the same time though, Forrest can't maintain that position for much longer. Grenadiers here can't either, although the Raffian themselves are also in a pretty deplorable condition. So, I mean, both players are really pushing their infantry to the very limits, to the very edge of what the human body, pixelated form that is, can endure. Almost got the Raffian there. Forrest needs to be careful there again. He doesn't move into the range of the sniper willingly. I mean, great for Cruzz, but not great for Forrest's men, who prefer not being target practice for Cruzz's sniper. And there we go, Cruzz adding in some Panzer Grenadiers here, adding in some heavy infantry. Definitely not a bad timing. I mean, resource-wise, I don't think he has to immediately worry about the Stuart, so getting out the Panzer Grenadiers would that way threaten Forrest's infantry better, so not a bad idea. And meanwhile, fuel cache up here for Forrest. Clearly got a longer-term plan in mind here. Good to see. Plus, it also doubles as protection for any immediate harassment around his fuel points. I mean, in this regard, the fuel cache here is a very excellent choice. Again, it serves two purposes, which all means it's a very excellent investment for 200 manpower. Captain there taking losses from Grenadiers. Again, needs to be a bit careful about rending too close to Cruzz's base. Medic bunker on the way. They got the Panzer Grenadiers out here. Hardened men having served in Italy. Shooting also Americans there, but a few Tommies, Poles, and the occasional Gurkha. Possibly. Troops are reinforcing, getting ready. The 15th Panzer Division had in fact been dispatched from Italy to the Western Front there, sort of in preparation for Operation Herbstnebel. Captain there being pushed back. We got Grenadiers, Panzers moving ahead here. Big infantry push here from Cruzz. Noting no upgrades for the Grenadiers, though he might want to consider at least some Telemines. Actually, now he's going for a lot of light machine guns, so he can't do with that. Otherwise, again, a few Telemines on the right spot, I think, could do a lot there to protect him versus Forrest's inevitable Stuart light tank. But again, I do think still the Panzer Grenadiers initially are a good choice. I mean, if it's too far behind, obviously he should have gone for a Pack 40 first, but generally, Panzer Grenadiers serve quite nicely. And they should go for a lot of G43 Grenadiers, and so far he's not exactly aiming for lightning war. I mean, he could go there, but so far he is not. But there you go, again we can see the fuel cache here. It makes it a lot harder for Cruzz to sort of just cut off rest from his fuel supply, and it certainly just makes things a bit more awkward, which again is why fuel cache, for example, on the cut-off point tends to be a pretty good investment.
Capture point is being overrun.
He's going to need an ambulance, though. Someone's driving there have certainly seen better days. Hey, Carl. I can see you beamed your hat last night. Shut up, Earl.
Our supply line just got cut off. Gather round. Our supply line just got cut off.
More Panzer Grenadiers from Cruzz now. That is what you call bold. I mean, he's clearly either not expecting the Stuart, or he's not thinking it's going to be a huge threat to him, which is why he's actually willing to commit into two Panzer Grenadiers with zero anti-tank weapons, despite again knowing its opponent has a captain, which means a Stuart, and the Stuart can really make things miserable for your Grenadiers. So it's going to be interesting to see here what will happen next, in particular because Cruzz hasn't laid down any Telemines either. But there you go, Panzer's going to bring up. Note, by the way, again, how he moved here. In this case, he made sure to set himself off on the retreat path, so he has an increased chance of wiping out the riflemen. In this case, it didn't quite work out there for Cruzz, but definitely that was the right way of doing it. That was the right way of doing it. But again, no anti-tank as of yet. He can soon go for the Pack 40. And I imagine he will go for the Pack 40 unless he's actually planning to go straight to Tier 3 and somehow survive until he gets out some kind of medium armor, which would be kind of crazy. Still, Cruzz has to manage to secure most of the map here again. Panzer Grenadiers and well-played Grenadiers for sniper support can do a lot there versus the Americans. That's definitely allowed Cruzz to actually gain a huge chunk of the map, and he actually is going straight for Tier 3. He is not going for a Pack 40 against the Stuart. Cruzz is either getting crazy or he's got balls of Krupp steel. Perhaps not Krupp steel, but you know, pretty high-grade steel anyways. Maybe face-hardened steel at the very least. But there you go, Panzerfaust there on the Stuart, damaging his engine. And we got mortar under pressure from the Grenadiers. Rifle gate goes off, almost wiping the mortar crew out there, but they do escape. The last few survivors having to leave behind though Joe and Billy Bob to die. in the muck. If they haven't already died. Grenadiers moving ahead, he needs to be a bit careful. 4S has yet to go for doctrine, though neither has Cruzz, and he can very soon go for the Suprema Core. In fact, he can do it right now. Got Panzergunners there hiding down here in the far west corner. Map setting up for some nasty harassment. Trying also to get an ambulance out there for 4S. So Stuart here at the front line, fixed up again. Pioneers rushing back. They got Panzers here dealing with the captain, supported by the sniper, quickly taking out quite a toll there on 4Res's infantry. And Panzers here in the south, dealing with the riflemen, doing quite a bit of damage. They're ultimately forced to retreat here. Stuart rolling in. 3 kills for America, freedom, and democracy. Bit of quiet down here. And Cruzz actually went for a Pack 40, so perhaps realising he can't quite get on any medium armour, he realises he might have been pushing his luck too far. So yeah, again, not group steal, but at least, you know, phased hardened, so at least, you know, initially he can sort of look cool and then realise, alright, maybe I do need an anti-tank one before I get out any armour. Panzers, they're going to need some reinforcement healing, and he should still, of course, get up as a Suprema Core as soon as possible here versus 4S. Well, I mean, in theory, could consider rolling out a second Stuart. I mean, that would give him more of an initial immediate advantage versus Cruzz. Just push harder with the light armour, threaten the infantry more. Of course, would have a few risks. Then again, he would then combine it with heavy cavalry and use combined arms to further buff them and infantry around them, in which case it would form up a, I think, quite devastating sort of combined arms formation with the infantry and the Stuarts, and do that some pretty nasty attacks. But in this case, it doesn't. I think Panzerfaust there on the Stuart, damaging Incendian. Pearson as the Grenadiers. Grabbing points here. Rather than reinforcing, got the captain setting out again. Note, Bobby has not upgraded the captain with a bazooka at all. In fact, he's loading quite a bit of munitions. And I'm a bit surprised that, considering again Cruzz has gone for a lot of Panzer Grenadiers, 4S has not thought about getting BARs out to help versus them. So I do think that is something that 4S could benefit from. In this case, catches the sniper out in the open, gets off a few good hits, but sniper quickly hides behind the fence, and the Grenadiers provide sufficient covering fire there for the sniper to be safe. Still, fuel cache is keeping 4S supplied here and ahead of Cruzz. Of course, Cruzz could build the Suprema Core, and he could get out some Panzers, some Stugs, some Deutschland. And meanwhile, he's finally going there for the weapon max, realizing he does need the BAR. I mean, he could also go for tactical support and go for Browning light machine guns, which would certainly also have quite an impact on Cruzz. But he does aim for the BAR, the good old Browning automatic rifle, a World War I era weapon, which didn't really manage to see much usage there before the war ended. It also, by the way, saw usage with the Polish army, and subsequently with the German army, which used some of the copies there. I think it was the Waffen-SS, who was initially, by the way, in this early stage of the war, quite undersupplied, and so had to rely more on captured equipment from other nations. So they would likely have used the Polish BARs initially. There you go, Pack 40 getting hit down the Stuart light tank. Suprema Core going up there for Cruzz and Fatherland. Points in the west being secured by the double Panzer Grenadiers. And in the east, point there being secured by the Riflemen. Mortier caught by Grenadiers and quickly routed as it realizes it needs to redeploy to a place with less Germans in it. Suprema Core up. Right now versus the Panzers. There we go. We've got a big sweeping movement here from Cruzz. 8 Panzers with assault rifles that could do a lot of damage very quickly. And 4S men there hightail it out of it very quick. We got the captain with the BAR. Certainly been increasingly popular with some players actually not upgrade the captain with bazookas, but instead go for BARs, as he is pretty good with it. But there you go, Panzer rushing straight forward. We got more coming up with BARs. Nope, well, he's only single upgraded them, not double upgraded them. Stuart moving up support as well there. Panzer was being run off. And there we go, Geballte Ladung. There we go, still taking loss. There's the work within the blast radius. Stuart, they're running covering fire there, halfway to Victory 2. Cruzz can go for a Panzer IV Austrian Stug. He will likely go for a Panzer IV first, provided by some nearby Panzer Division. Troops are healing and reinforcing. And there you go, Pack 40 here being pursued by the Stuart light tank. He goes for the Austrian Flak Panzer here. Pack 40 there in quite a bit of trouble there, just caught badly out of position there by 4S Stuart light tank, and Cruzz is being punished quite badly for it. Well, not badly, but he's certainly getting punished for it, though so far not so badly, as it's going to be only decrewed within his own base. So And there you go, Panzerfaust. In theory, he could recruit and try and knock out the Stuart, and immediately here we also note that Forrest has nothing within range here for support, so he's going to have, I think, to lay down a smoke screen around here to sort of try and cover up the retreat of the Stuart, and then get up some infantry to cover up. He also needs a lot more infantry. He's actually down to just 3 squads, including one of the captain. So really, Forrest needs more infantry. I mean, obviously, again, he could go for armor and assault engineers, he could go for heavy cavalry and rangers, he just could go for more riflemen, but he definitely needs to get out more troops on the field. That is simply too little for the Americans, even with BARs, that is way too little. And there we go, flak panzer on the way, and now Forrest is in another bigger issue. He's got no anti-tank. There's an Austrian out in the field, and he's got nothing that can sort of seriously threaten it. And that can quickly do a lot of damage to him, because Cruzz, of course, knows the true secret of the Austrian, which is, you don't bloody well move it. It's a lot more accurate when you're not moving it, which again is overall a lot true for most of the armoured vehicles. Stand still and they'll be reasonably accurate. It's just most people insist on moving them every 5 seconds. Well, not in 2 seconds. But there you go. Forrest quickly goes for the armour doctrine, calling in the M10 tank destroyer to help deal with this armoured threat. Certainly a bit of a crutch knee jerk here from Forrest, calling up the tanks to do that. Spotted here by the Stuart. Oh, we could see stun rounds there. There we go. Quite bad here for the Osman. We could see a loss there for Cruzz. Osman almost down already. Pack 4 there is being recruited, but still might not be in time here. One more hit, one more hit. And there we go. Osman goes up in flames. Stuart pulls back with a damaged engine. Quite a loss there for Cruzz. And the 15th Panzergrenadier Division. And the M10 got largely out of that one unscathed, having only suffered very minimal damage thanks to the 30mm flak there. Still, Cruzz very much enjoys the infantry advantage, and with the Stug in the Pack 40, he should still be in, I think, reasonably good position here versus Forrest, who's still not bringing up more infantry to contest Cruzz's infantry, which again, with 2 Panzergrenadiers, Vetri 2, will be quite well supported. Of course, the Grenadiers backing up with the light machine guns definitely means that Cruzz will be able to bring a lot of firepower to bear versus Forrest's infantry. So the faster Forrest can sort of, bring a bit more infantry on the way, and, other elements there, he should be... I mean, Cruzz should be in a strong position. Though Cruzz is yet to go for doctrine yet, there's still no choice. No decision. Which is certainly in Forrest should be mindful of. Of course, Cruzz needs to, make a decision soon. But we got Stug almost done. We got assault engineers out here for him. Flamethrowers on the way. Go for on a BA out on top. But there you go. We got the Stug 3G on the way there for Cruzz and the 15th Panzergrenadier Division. The Stug would have been part of the 15th Panzergrenadier Division's Panzer Battalion. Fun fact, they still had them in tech theory, but they were all equipped with Stugs. Though generally, they would have had Stug 4s and not Stug 3s. No fun fact. There you go, M10s. Panzers down to 5 from that and the Stuart. We got the Stug nearby and the Pack 40 as well. M10 needs to be a bit careful here that Forrest doesn't push his luck too far. There's now, of course, with the Stug about, he can quick himself a lot more damage. Big infantry push into the west here. Stuart taking a nice hit there from the Stug, but does escape, and that fuel cache, I think, really has paid off nicely for Forrest. Sadly, there's no way of checking just how much it should have really got out there in terms of value, but I mean, it's been out there since the early game, so I mean, it's provided Forrest with a lot of fuel. And has overall thus been a very good investment. Plus, of course, also just, in protecting from any sort of harassment that way is also, I think, a value that much more difficult to measure. But there you go, kind of sneaking about here, catching the captain out in the open. Heavy light machine gun fire there. 2 LMG-42s just tearing into the shrubbery and the captain behind the shrubbery. There you go, Stuart rolling in to deal with that. We got Bulldozer jumps here available for Forrest. Then again, he might consider another M10. And he's lost another squad there. Forrest just needs more infantry. He's suffering too many losses there. 3rd infantry sent to top there. Grenadiers. Oh, suffered a wipe here from the Stuart. Bulldozer jam rushing it. Panzerfaust off. We got the Stug moving in though. Need to be careful here though. Stug firing. Hits a truck instead. Gott im Himmel, Ludwig. A 60 Stuart Nazi truck. I know the Americans are scheiße at making tanks, but that's still a truck. And there you go, caught in another M10 tank destroyer. Stug desperately trying to go away here. M10 trying to quickly flank it. Looking pretty bad here for Cruzz. There's a high likelihood of losing the Stug here unless he can make a sharp enough turn here. There we go. There we go. We even got armor piercing rounds. You don't need it versus the Stug, but he's still going for it. He's main gun out. Panzerfaust completely evaporates the M10. Oh dear, in this case 4S tribe, in this case he probably should have realised he needs to pull back there. And now he rushes in with the other M10. He might be, committing too many resources trying to get out that Stuke, and that could be to the advantage of Cruzz. Several Pantherfausts in our option. And he gets the Stuke, But if we lose the M10, it certainly won't be worth it. I mean, the thing to keep in mind about the M10 is it's only slightly more expensive than the Stuke. And we're talking like 18 or 20 manpower more expensive than the Stuke. And of course, you don't have to tech for it. So, I mean, just using one to get a Stuke isn't a huge loss. The line got some damage on, and again, he got an Ostman with it, so it already paid itself in quite nicely. Of course, if we lose another one, it's going to be more beneficial to Cruzz. But he's actually allowing him to repair it inside of his own base, and he might actually allow it to escape here. And it's going to be too late now to act him up to block off the retreat path here with Panzerfaust. But there you go, M10 sort of quickly setting off there. Step on it, Carl. I don't want to die here. I intend to die rich.
M10 ready for
At the
action.
top of a corporate structure, benefiting only me.
Lock her down. Here it comes.
So, careful. 4S, don't get too close to the front line. We got Panzer's gun, these snipers here all bearing down in the captain. Captain moving up. And he's still only got one BA on his infantry squad. He's still got a ton of munitions. I definitely think 4S needs to expend those munitions a bit more enthusiastically. At the very least, he should lay down some mines and demo charges with his engineers. He hasn't even picked up the BAR that was dropped there. So, I mean, right here, 4S definitely needs to use his resources a lot more efficiently, because Cruzz is, and while Cruzz has certainly suffered some setbacks, I mean, he's got more infantry still. He's got those panzer grenadiers, and some of them are closing in on Veteran 3. And Cruzz has brought up another Stuke 3G. Got the bulldozer and rolling ahead. There we got more grenadiers on the way for Cruzz. Not more panzer. Oh, he cancels them. Might be planning more pioneers or something else. I mean, more pioneers wouldn't be a bad idea either. Would help with repairs. Or he could also go for a fuel cache. I mean, a fuel cache sort of around here, maybe there, could certainly help him, you know, provide more fuel for more Stukes, because there's a sort of heavy armor company play with M10s. The Stuke will be your most cost-efficient man of sort of defeating them. It's either that or you're trying to save up for a Panther. And currently, the resources and the map control are not speaking Cruzz's favour of going for Panthers. And there you go, though he got the Stuart. That's going to be a huge burden off his shoulders, which allows his infantry to operate a bit more freely. There's still going to be the M10 and the Bulldozer Sherman, but the Bulldozer Sherman is a lot slower, and the M10 can't kill them on retreat, unless, like, he gets super lucky with the shots. But we do have some demo charges down. Still no real mining, though, from 4S, despite having the assault engineers. Rough flanking in, almost trying to get the grenadiers there. We got the sniper covering now. Cruzz flooding a lot of manpower. Still no doctrine chosen. Is he planning a Tiger race all over the blue? In that case, again, he could have gone for the doctrine soon and benefited from it. Now he's going for the Pack 40. More. Hard to say what Cruzz is planning, but there does seem to, I think, be a bit of indecision here with Cruzz. Perhaps not entirely sure how to deal with 4S's armoured surge there. He might be scrambling a bit there to find a solution. But also, obviously, he didn't quite seem to have then a long-term plan. He hasn't chosen a doctrine yet by the 20-minute mark. I mean, as a rule of thumb, if you don't have a doctrine chosen by the 20-minute mark, I mean, that you're usually losing any benefit from waiting any longer, because then it's not an integrated part of your strategy at all. And then you're like just going to use it for a single thing, in which case, again, it's not very efficient. We've got artillery strike here, right into Cruzz's base. Got the M10 with a Stuke. Target being pretty available. I could have a chance of getting the Sherman as well there. And a lot more experience than off to the Stuke, maybe even Veteran G2. There we go, very close. Sniper needs to be careful he doesn't get too close. I mean, if he gets caught by the 50 caliber, that could be game over, man. Game over. And there you go. Bulldozer gets knocked out here. All of a sudden, 4S is in a very bad state there. That's what you get when you underestimate the Stuke. The Stuke punishes you badly. So now 4S is without armor, and he's also still pretty low in infantry, whereas Cruzz has plenty of it. And again, he's got plenty of veteran infantry too, and he's got some of the best veteran infantry. He's got veteran Panzer Grenadiers. The only thing that really sort of from the Wehrmacht side beats veteran Panzer Grenadiers is veteran Stormtroopers with assault rifles. I mean, those guys are demigods. Fixing up the Stuke there. Ambulance. Mortec captain on the way. Points there being secured. And looks like more... Oh, it's another fuel cache from Full Rest. Interesting choice here at this stage. It's not like he's hugely lacking fuel, it's more manpower, and, you know, that costs manpower, so... I'm not entirely sure what Full Rest is going for that one when he needs more troops, not more caches. Pioneer's caught here by the rifleman. Stu not ready to deal with that. Cruzz still not having chosen a doctor, and he definitely needs to do that. He's getting a bit worrying there. Then again, he might not have needed it so much again, thanks to Full Rest not handling his armor so well, and certainly not keeping his force composition very tight. And he's still flown a lot of munitions. He has need to upgrade the fresh rifle with BARs. There you go, Panzers rush straight, and they gain veteran fleet, making them hardened veterans. Iron Cross soldiers, second class. Got the M10 out there, another Wolverine. And he's just rolling ahead. They're pretty recklessly. I mean, he should be aware of his opponent having Stoops out there. And again, if he gets caught in the wrong spot there, that's going to... There we go. Eventually 2 for the Stoop plus target. Weak point is also big threat to the M10. And there we go. Full Rest got punished hard here by Cruzz. Punished hard. It wasn't even that hard like Cruzz had to do it. I mean, he just rolled straight into it. He didn't even try to, like, check out where his opponent's anti-tank assets were. So while Full Rest seems to have, you know, a decent start there, he's rather sort of throwing it away here at this stage. Again, his unit preservation, his tactical sort of abilities rather betraying him. Whereas again, Cruzz playing a lot more solid and reliable game is now suddenly looking a lot stronger. Captain challenge straight to the Panzers here, Betchney 3 up. But there we go, push back, Captain with BARs, always nasty. In fact, he's gone for double BARs, but he's lost another infantry. In fact, those are his fresh riflemen. Still got the shits up the Stuke. He's adding the Pintelmat machine gun on as well for added firepower for the fatherland. Got nothing for there. He could go for a Panzer IV. He could go for another Stuke. He could go for an Ostwind. I mean, there's plenty of options now ahead of Cruzz here. Again, largely secured by good infantry performance. In fact, he's got 2 veteran 3 Panzer Grenadier squads. That's a definite nightmare for what little infantry Full Rest has left. 16 kills for Germany. So again, he's getting a lot of fuel though. He's getting a lot of it. It's just... he's not really got much else. Captain White, that's another blow to Full Rest there. He will not be able to recover from. We got another M10 and we got a Panzer IV on the way there for Cruzz. Demo charge went off there. Oh dear, didn't even get anything with it. That's just munitions gone. Mortar moving up. Rifle needs to get away there. They're going to get wiped in retreat if he doesn't get out of there like now. Bun grenade on the mortar crew. Got the M10 rolling in there. Going to go straight for the infantry. Going to try and crush it. There you go. Quick retreat here from all of Cruzz's forces. Panzer IV almost done for Cruzz. And the 15th Panzer Grenadier Division. But I'm not entirely sure how Full Rest is envisioning that his M10 is going to win this when he's barely got any infantry for it to work with. So, seems like Full Rest is sort of just starting a repetitive motion again. What happens with some players again when they rely too much on doctrinal call-ins, they sort of end up not being able to perceive the game outside of those doctrinal call-ins, and you know, suddenly end up themselves with some very lopsided force compositions and very limited opportunities because again they have very little things they can actually do with their force. Got the Panzer IV rolling ahead there. No support from the Stuke, though he should keep the Stuke close by then in case he does run into another M10. So of course Full Rest will likely just keep throwing them at Cruzz. In this case though, the assault units were cut down in a matter of seconds here. Sniper, Grenadiers and the Panzer Grenadiers all forming a terrible threat there to Full Rest's remaining assault units, and they got completely massacred. That was nothing short of a massacre there. Had they been able to surrender, they most likely would have realised, and they were completely buggered there. Full Rest throwing the last thing in there. Stuke going in here. Panzer IV being engaged. Stuke going to flank in against the M10. Very nice work there. Pack 4 is setting up, doing anything about with Panzer Fausts. And And there you go, 4 rest surrenders, realizing all hope is lost. A victory here for Cruzz. Short, brutal battle with some nice movements there from Cruzz again, displaying the power of panzer grenadiers, but always just a good force composition. Again, it was a bit risky at times, but he actually managed to contain it. And 4 rest sort of also had something going for him, but again, doctrinally, he didn't quite, I think, make the right choice, and again, overall force composition very quickly fell apart as he couldn't maintain his infantry properly. He didn't support it properly either. Again, he was too slow in getting up upgrades, despite again seeing panzer grenadiers for quite some time, feeding the Cruz's panzer grenadiers, then plenty of largely free experience and really giving Cruzz the edge there. So, I mean, 4 rest should have gone for the BARs much faster versus Cruzz, and I do think he almost should have gone for heavy cavalry, at least got out some ranges to challenge them instead, you know, trying to take up for Sherman tanks, rather than just trying to rely on M10s here instead. I mean, that regard, 4 S's force composition was a bit awkward, and overall Cruzz was very able to sort of quite harshly lock it down. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, want to subscribe, tell your friends, share it up with everyone. This is Imperial Dancing. Cheers. Thank you all for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Cheers.